Oh, okay. We have 3 minutes left. Oh, I would suggest, if it's okay for the organizers, we can start already.
Yes, because it's 2 minutes after half, so we are fully in the program.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks a lot. We actually, I will start like that. I'm more than happy to have so many people here in the room to come especially for this one session dedicated to Germany. And Germany wants to be pioneer in hydrogen, but is also pioneer in diversity and equality. So I have a 100% women panel. And I guess we are the only one in all this exhibition. What is actually in the hydrogen world something quite special. And it's important to say we have a lot of women here, but we are also a lot of women on the top floor in Germany in the hydrogen scene. So you will say Silke. Silke is vice president of the German Hydrogen Association. And I'm more than happy that you are here because we know each other for now some years, I would say. And I see you progressing fantastic. Now you are a vice president and you are also in the steering committee of Hyvolution. So it gives us a lot of hope that sometimes the communication between Germany and France is difficult, but it's getting on the work level. Actually, in the hydrogen scene, it works because you, as a German, you are in the steering committee of Hyvolution, and I would be more than happy that you can say some words about how the things are going on in the hydrogen scene and how. Well, we had 2 weeks ago a governmental consultation between Germany and France, and there was some announcements. So it gives us a lot of hope. Please.
There you go. So thank you, Raphael. Thank you, Germany Trade and Invest, and also the Hyvolution for being here. It was kind of quick and dirty that I'm now standing on this stage, and I can tell you, not a problem at all. Especially, we know each other, and we know that we will make it in the next years. I'm in the field for 19 years now, so I'm not a youngster anymore. I'm an old elephant, so to say. And therefore, Raphael and I, we had a look in the hydrogen field since the last year. I'm here especially for tomorrow, for the summit, because we do have it at the other corner, the hydrogen summit of Hyvolution here. And for now, for the German view, my 4 colleagues will give you more insights later on. I now, just for 2 minutes, will give the national perspective here. What was the progress in the last years? I would like to say national hydrogen strategy from Germany went off 2020. We had a lot of scaling up in the last month, and especially for France. You said it, Raphael, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, the government, they met, and I think especially the Franco-Allemand view is something that we will build up and will strengthen in the next months and for sure years, decades.
It's a long way. And I mean, so long Europe exists, and it will exist for a long time, there will be cooperation between France and Germany. Fantastic. Silke, I thank you really for this introduction. Tomorrow you have a busy day, right? You are at the summit?
Yes, there's not only the summit, but for sure also those about 400 institutions that are here on stage. I'm now walking around and looking what they will bring. And, well, for sure, hydrogen is not only German and French, hydrogen is international. And this is something that we always hear and hear. We are cross-border thinking. We cannot only look to our local governments, authorities, and thinking we always have to think the whole value creation chain, I would like to say. And this is for sure also in the talks that we can see here on stage today and tomorrow, on and on, the same thing. So have a lot of fun now with you in the discussion. They are also really big experts in their topics, and I'm pretty sure you will have a smile when you go home tomorrow evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Silke. Super, top, thank you. Thanks a lot. Now we are getting into the hard topic, and I'm more than happy to have 4 women that come from 3 of you different regions, and that's the occasion for me to explain who you are and what you do. Like 3 of them come from so-called investment promotion agency, like I do, Germany Trade Invest. They help you foreign companies, not only French, foreign companies, to come to Germany with a free service and to set up business in Germany, because we want to speed up, ramp up the hydrogen economy. I will first start with Heike Tipp-Monta, representing the north. We come from the north to the east to the south, and we end up with the representation of the German industry in Brussels with you. Heike Tipp-Monta, high five. It's the hydrogen initiative, correct me please, of the northern German state. It means Hamburg, Bremen, Lower Saxony, Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, and Schleswig-Holstein. Yeah, fantastic. Didn't forget anybody. Then we have Claudia Wackermann. You come from Saxony Invest Development GmbH, right?
Saxony Trade and Invest.
Saxony Trade Invest, like Germany Trade Invest. Saxony Trade and Invest. And you represent Saxony here. And then we have Kara Schank, right? Double name, right?
It's okay.
Schank. And you represent Baden-Württemberg, actually in the form of the e-mobility agency, e-mobility for innovative. Maybe you can say how exactly the name is of your entity.
New mobility solutions and automotive.
So it's actually the mobile part of hydrogen in Baden-Württemberg. It's carried out by the state of Baden-Württemberg. And finally, Carola, Kantz, you are representing VDMA. More especially, you are the Deputy General Manager of VDMA Power to X, right?
For applications. Yes, for applications, a platform. I'll get into that later on to explain what we do, but we cover the whole supply chain on hydrogen and derivatives.
Okay, and you come especially from Brussels.
Yes, my office is in Brussels, but I look into regulation both in Germany and the EU.
Fantastic. So we have actually a national view, a regional view, and also a European view on hydrogen here on this panel. I would start with a round of questions, and if we have time, I would be more than happy to have the questions from the audience, because with the expert we have here on the panel, we'll be able to give you maybe answer not every questions. Actually, we want to answer every question there at our booth. It's at the booth 6E02 and 6E04. There is a German booth where we're expecting you and can advise you the best. But let's have a flavor and see what makes Germany so special and look at the specificities of the German region. Heike, I would start with you. You come from the north, and I must confess, 15 years ago, as I started in hydrogen scene, the north was not so much on my map, but now it's changed a lot. Now it's really interesting. And my question would be, how important is actually the historical and geographical specificities of your region? What makes the northern of Germany so interesting for hydrogen economy? What makes this region so attractive? Maybe you can give let your time and explain what is northern Germany.
Yeah. Well, we don't have that much time, so I could spend hours talking about the north, but to give you a brief idea what northern Germany is about and what are the geographical and historical strengths is that first of all, it's our mindset. Northern Germany has always been pioneering in terms of renewable energies, especially with regards to the wind energy. And there the link to hydrogen and the application of renewable energy is already quite strong. So we have a lot of offshore and onshore wind energy that we can use. And that is also a prerequisite for our local industries that are very strong. A lot of people associate a strong industry more with the southern part of Germany, which is great, but we also have great industries like steel industry, partly automotive, chemical industries in northern Germany. And they are historically suitable now in terms of decarbonization to become off-takers for green hydrogen. And that is something that makes us particularly strong in northern Germany. And what's also very important is our access to the north and the Baltic Sea. And that, in terms of import infrastructure, is also a great asset that we have in the years to come when we are considering, and it will be necessary to import green hydrogen on a larger scale. So that is mainly the prerequisites that we have and the advantages from my point of view.
Now we will come to the eastern part of Germany. And your history in the eastern part of Germany, in Saxony, is different than in the north. So you are rather a region where the focus is on other branches. And it's quite interesting to know, well, your experience is different. So how important is the experience of Saxony? And you are not alone. There's also neighboring regions that have the same focus, or let's say the same experience, more especially as energy and chemical regions. And this history, how does it help to develop the hydrogen economy? And what I would like to say, or to know more especially, is where do you put the focus on the development of value chain in your region?
Yeah, thank you, Raphael, for this question. First of all, I warmly welcome all of you. I'm pleased that so many are interested in the German hydrogen market, and I am sure that in our discussion we'll give you a few great arguments for your presence in the German hydrogen market, and as Raphael already mentioned, we'll be happy to see you on our booths after the debate. I'll write down a few points so I'm not forget that what I want to say. So yeah, forgive me, please. And yeah, Raphael, maybe a small question: have any one of you have been in Saxony? Do you know Dresden or Leipzig? Yeah. Great, so we have a few Saxon fans here, but Saxony is not only about great and beautiful cities, but Saxony is first of all an energy region where the environment energy sector is a significant economic factor as well. Our industrial region has grown historically for more than 200 years, so it's a lot experience. With 4 million inhabitants, Saxony offers not only a strong industrial base, but also an intensively living scientific base. I will say a few words later about it. And our crowning glory, it's not the Baltic Sea, but it's our location and excellent transport links, both by air and by road. We are in the heart of Europe. We are the gate to the Central and to the Eastern Europe. And no less important is the human factor. Saxony is the incubator for engineers, and in Germany we have excellent universities there. Just to mention Freiburg University, Technical University in Chemnitz or in Dresden. So if you are looking for a qualified workforce, you are right when you are coming to Saxony. And on this basis, Raphael, don't worry, I have a few points, so I will give you a sign. And yeah, on this basis, I just said Saxony is setting its own accents and has extensive and great competences in efficient generation, conversion, storage, and also use of energy. And the numerous actors are very active along the entire value chain. And importantly, all elements combines their forces. I mean, politics, science, and economy. Just to say one word, in Saxony, Saxon government has developed Saxon hydrogen strategy, which have very ambitious goals. About developing infrastructure in Saxony, about developing the whole value chain by 2030. All forces in Saxony are on the board and support themselves. But your question was also about production value chain. And coming to that, Saxony is focusing on the industrialization of electric and fuel cell systems. Saxon companies and companies based in Saxony mastered the relevant electrolysis technologies. Probably you've heard about Sunfire. In addition, chemical plant manufacturers in Saxony and in Saxony-Anhalt are design and developing P2X plants. And Saxony is also home to companies that offer fuel cell systems, subsystems, and also components for stationary and also for mobile application. And just a few words to chemical industry on the border between Saxony-Anhalt and Saxony. The industry, ammonia, methanol, both of which are economic importance in the both federal states. They represent key sectors in the transformation toward a climate-neutral hydrogen as a substitute for fossil hydrogen. And just to mention one project, Chemiepark Bitterfeld-Wolfen with 50 megawatts electrolyzer in Leuna for the industrial use of hydrogen. And maybe one project more, hydrogen village on the border where the hydrogen infrastructure will be tested. And two sentences to our ecosystem, to our scientific base, to our research base, to our networks. More than 100 companies in Saxony are working together and on the topics of green hydrogen mostly, and fuel cells in the innovation cluster, Hydrogen State Saxony. Both in the research area, but also in the application-oriented solutions. Just to mention two of our networks, one of them is Energy Saxony, and the second one is the H2 for Saxony, and the representative of the innovation cluster is also here on the side. You can meet Mr. Schlegel on our booth, so you are welcome to have a word with him. And maybe just one word more to our projects. HIC, three steps, what means hydrogen and mobility innovation center. It is or it will be one of 4 German hydrogen technology centers and will be built in Chemnitz by 2025. And it will be unique industrial research, test and certification campus in Europe for fuel cells and drive systems for hydrogen-propelled road and rail vehicles.
Okay, a lot to know about Saxony. We had the overview first on northern Germany, wind, sea access, Saxony, energy, a cool region, chemical region, and now we come to, I would say, the mother of fuel cell industry. I say that why? Because 15 years ago, as I started working, in the hydrogen scene. One of the leading region was Baden-Württemberg, and it was mainly based on automotive application. It's a quite alternative scene. Now the focus changed, but still, does the question to you, Baden-Württemberg? What role does the automotive industry play in the development of an hydrogen economy, and which measures and actors play an important role for this?
Yeah, so thank you. I'm here, as mentioned, for Baden-Württemberg. I don't know if you're all familiar with the geography in Germany. Baden-Württemberg is located in the southwest of Germany, so we have a border with France right next to Strasbourg. And like already mentioned, for our key industry is the automotive industry. In fact, the automotive has been invented in Baden-Württemberg a long time ago, and since that, Baden-Württemberg has established a big competence and a lot of know-how in producing automotive, and of course all the necessary components and for that. I'm sure you all know the big players like Mercedes-Benz or Porsche, or also a supplier like the company Bosch. But besides these big players, global players, there's a high number of small and medium-sized companies in Baden-Württemberg who shape our economical structure. And so in the recent or in the last decades, Baden-Württemberg has really become worldwide known for being a leading industrial regions and as a technology supplier. And so why am I talking so much about the automotive industry? It's because all these competencies and the expertise can be used for hydrogen technologies. So this concerns especially the components for fuel cells, of course, how to build them together to a system, and it concerns also the mechanical plant engineering, so how to build the machines to producing all these components needed in hydrogen technologies. And so that's why the hydrogen sector is very interesting for companies in Baden-Württemberg, and companies see a lot of potential on having a part on the value creation. And so the possibilities they offer themselves along the whole value chain of hydrogen, so beginning from the components necessary for electrolysis, towards the transport and the refueling stations, towards the application of the different hydrogen in the different hydrogen sectors. So this may be for a beginning.
Yeah, sure. Definitively, automotive is the backbone of Baden-Württemberg, the industry. What was depicted sounds really positive and nice, but we are facing a huge challenge in Germany, and we have to face it. I mean, hydrogen is happening, should happen, but it doesn't happen as fast as we're expecting it. And since, I guess, IRA, that's actually this Inflation Reduction Act, it was a kind of wake-up call for us, German, for Europeans in general, and we understood we are not the only one dreaming of hydrogen. And we are maybe dreaming, but there's others that are, let's see, making it more concrete. So that's my question to you, Carola, and that's the voice of Brussels, I would say, and the voice of the German industry. How competitive are we as Germany, but also as Europe? And it's just the first part of this question. What challenges and opportunities rise from this? There's both sides. We can see that positively, but also really negatively. But also, and that is maybe where you can give your input even more than we can do. Which bottleneck must our nations, European nations, overcome as quickly as possible? For example, through legal measures. Please. Carola, explain us.
But first of all, Raphael, thanks for having me here today. On the one hand, you're right. Yes, hydrogen is here to stay, and it's good that we will have more competition. Other regions are interested in hydrogen too. But the bad news is that Germany and the European Union is not anymore the leader of the pack. So the other regions, and the two recent examples are the United States and India, that also want to become a hydrogen economy or want to introduce more and more hydrogen technologies. They want to introduce the market ramp-up of hydrogen, and they might actually be faster than we in Europe. So what are the benefits? What are the risks? Well, we as mechanical engineering, we are a very export-dependent or related industry. So for us, if other regions of the world go into hydrogen, that's a benefit. We want to export our technologies into other regions of the world. That's a good thing. For Europe, the question of security of supply, the industrial base of Europe, that is bad news. Because if other regions in the world attract the investment, the skills, the hardware, then we actually have the problem. We also have our ambitious climate goals that we want to implement, and we need also the investment, the skills, and the hardware. And if that goes into other regions of the world, we will not be able to actually achieve those ambitious climate goals. Now, Germany and the EU have published their European hydrogen strategies in 2020. That makes nearly 3 years of debating the regulatory framework. And we're not there yet. We don't have the delegated acts. We don't have the mandates in the industry, the transport sectors, aviation, maritime. And we're still discussing which sectors are in, which sectors are out. So this is really one of the fundamental problems that we are facing, the insecurities in the sectors. So we have a lot of funding programs in Germany, from a blending mandate, a 2% blending mandate in the aviation sector for hydrogen-based synthetic kerosene in 2030. We have H2 Global, a tender scheme to actually import hydrogen from other parts of the world. We will have carbon contracts for difference in the industry sector, but they all depend on this regulatory framework. Now, today is a very special day in Brussels because Ursula von der Leyen published what she thinks should be the European answer to the IRA. But unfortunately, what the plan doesn't have is actually unleashing innovation. It's still dictating technology, regulating technology. It's still micromanagement instead of having a simple regulatory framework. So what we need is the delegated acts as soon as possible. We need mandates, clear mandates in aviation, in maritime, in the industry. And we will also need the basis for some more funding, actually.
Okay, so it's both sides, positive and negative. Let's say we started good, but we have to keep on and to be straight. And that's maybe now actually where we can bit question and look at. First of all, thank you, Carola, for this intervention. Is to look into the region. Well, how do they do to strengthen their capacity of ramping up hydrogen economy? Because it's about regulation, it's about what's being done in Brussels, but it's also what's being done in the regions. So I turn to you, dear Heike, and don't hesitate to give more details about projects. I guess we are on time. So my question to Northern Germany, to Hi-Fi, would be, how does Northern Germany intend to strengthen its good starting position? Because wind is cheap, you have this airbar, you have access to sea, in order to attract industry and companies.
Well, we do have a lot in the pipeline, and I could go more into details, but please feel free to visit us afterwards and to find more about each project, because they basically cover the entire value chain, starting from R&D and then to the production, the distribution, and the consumption from the off-takers. But what I can say is that besides the German national hydrogen strategy, Northern Germany developed its own hydrogen strategy, and it was launched a little bit prior to the national one. So that also demonstrates our willingness to really push the market and set up a green hydrogen economy in Northern Germany for the reasons I mentioned before. But we also benefit from other funding schemes. We know IPCEI is quite time-consuming and very bureaucratic. But nevertheless, it's worth mentioning that out of the 62 projects that are currently in the process from Germany, almost 50% are located in Northern Germany. So that gives you a bit of a perspective of the importance of the region and the possibilities that lie in these projects once they go through the process. And we're still pretty optimistic that it will happen, and there's also big players involved who really rely on the regulation stuff as well, what you just said. But we do have the political tailwind as well, which is also very important within these states. We have also agreed funding for these IPCEI projects because it's not solely driven by the government and the EU, but also by the individual states. And what's also really important is that we have a lot of R&D in the pipeline. Like we are currently in the setup of it's called H2AM. It will be the Hanseatic Hydrogen Center for Aviation and Maritime, because that's where we are very strong. We have Airbus in the region, and Hamburg is the third largest aviation site in the world. So maritime, of course, with the harbor history, we're very strong in that. So we believe that this is a great opportunity for small and medium companies as well as startups to set up their testing facilities there. And we provide 4 centers in the region, in Bremerhaven, in Hamburg and Stade and Bremen, and with different focuses on testing capabilities. For instance, one will be the interaction with liquid hydrogen and several components, the testing of transport in containers via ships, and the movement when there's a storm and how that interacts and what the effect that has for the transportation. And in the Hamburg site with aviation focus, there's also a testing center nearby where they can look in the aviation sector as well. And there's a site in the harbor that will focus on tanking methods and different testing scenarios for that. So that is something that's really important to keep innovation going and to really help companies to establish themselves in the market. But we are also very strong in supporting the larger companies that are already there in the region with their projects, because since what I said, we have a lot of industries also in the harbors, and they have a massive pressure to decarbonize over the next few years. So in line with our mindset, this is something really important what we focus on. And yeah, so we're still ready. And like I said, if you want to find out more about a specific project along the value chain, because for time reasons, although we are in time, since I represent 5 states, you can imagine that we have a myriad of projects that are worth talking about. So feel free to ask more questions in this session that I can hopefully answer.
Thanks, Heike, for this complete answer and really detailed. And again, you are there at the booth, so for those who want to have a compliment on these projects, please talk with Heike and the other representative of the northern German regions. You said the word decarbonization. Decarbonization is actually crucial for Germany because we want to be by 2045 carbon neutral. It means zero. And for that, it is also something that asks or that's demand from Germany a phase out of coal. So it means there will be no coal power plants in the future. And I guess that's a quite important topic for Saxony, right?
Yes,
So I would
exactly.
combine the question I made to you, Heike, is regarding how do you want to strengthen the starting hydrogen economy in Saxony, but also how do you want to use this phase out of coal and use it maybe as accelerator for the hydrogen economy ramp up? Can you give us some detail, explain? Because I guess it's quite special for Saxony and for the eastern part of Germany.
I will try. I will do my best.
You will.
Yeah, you're right. Saxony as an energy region, what I already mentioned, is also a mining region, or previous mining region, and also at the same time a region in transition. And Saxony intends to make the best possible use of the strengths and competences it already enjoys. And we, as a Free State of Saxony, we want to be exemplary for the use of hydrogen as a building block for sustainable mobility and for decarbonization of the industry. And I have a few examples, great examples of companies based in Saxony, which are transforming this direction. They helping us transform our economy in Saxony. In the previous question session, I said the word Sunfire. And I'm sure 90% of you know the company, but maybe for the 10% left, I will say it's a Dresden-based company, corporation, and the corporation, as I said, it's a key enterprise for the Saxon hydrogen economy. Sunfire develops and produces efficient high-temperature electrolyzers, as well as proven alkali plants, and participates in such great projects, large-scale projects as, for example, the construction of the world's first multi-megawatt high-temperature electrolyzers in Rotterdam. A next great example from Saxony is the startup Ambertech, also from Dresden, and they developed a compact, cost-efficient, and also sustainable storage technology of hydrogen, and it's already one of the top companies which provides hydrogen and fuel cell solution in Europe. And we were talking about mobility, and hydrogen has great potential for sustainable and climate-friendly mobility. And maybe from the other side of the earth, or maybe other side of the sky, Chemieanlagenbau from Chemnitz, it's the other company. They developed a synthetic fuel together with the university in Freiburg, with which every vehicle that has a gasoline or a spark ignition engine can actually be driven in a climate-friendly manner. And the dream of the green flights will be realized by the project Hyvolution of the IDL Anlagenbau in Leipzig. Heike, you was talking about IPCEI projects in the high five federal states. It's really impressive that almost 50% of them are located in your federal states. But as Saxony, we are also proud to develop some of these projects, and one of the biggest ones, is the LIFE project in the Leipzig region. and it's the joint project live. It's the IPCEI project live, means not live, as we know the word from English. It means Leipzig Hydrogen Value Chain for Europe. And the aim of the project is to establish an intelligent and regionally networked green hydrogen system for the region of Leipzig. And with Live, the entire value and production chain with storage, transport and distribution to final consumption is to be realized in Leipzig region. It will be the hydrogen ring in the Leipzig region. And the project enjoys the financial support above from the federal side and also for the Saxon government. It's very ambitious, but it will be delivering. And I want to say a few words more about the unique ecosystem in Saxony. We are speeding the ramp up of the hydrogen market, and we have great possibilities to do it. Leipzig region and Saxony is the headquarter of the European Energy Exchange, EEX. Probably you know these three letters, which unites Europe's leading energy exchange, both power futures and natural gas markets under one roof. But in addition, Leipzig is the headquarter of the company HinCO. Do you know what's it? It's a hydrogen trader. It's the first hydrogen trader, green hydrogen trader, which has moved to Leipzig in order to permit investments into green hydrogen and to establish a fully functioning market for ecological hydrogen. And in the end of the 2022, the first tender was started. And we are very proud about it, and we can't wait to see the first offers. And Raphael, you was asking about the possibilities and offers for companies. Saxony is very proud about highest funding rates in Germany. And those who want to make a positive impact in Saxony, they are not alone. Wide range of public funding programs are available for companies in Saxony and from other federal states for companies which want to cooperate with Saxon companies. And they are for new investments, they are for innovation, R&D, and also for job creation. Just to mention our new technology funding, 600 million euros until 2027. And the focus is mostly on the provision on direct subsidies. At this time when the capital is most needed while investing. And our institutions, as a Sächsische Aufbaubank, it's a Saxon Development Bank, they give advice to companies, it's free of charge. And we, as a Saxony Trade and Invest, we are also a guide for companies which are interested in investing in Saxony and also interested in the funding programs. And with the whole great, examples of the Saxon ecosystems, we are sure we will going toward the climate neutral economy, and I'm sure we will be successful.
Okay. Now coming also to Baden-Württemberg, was Saxony in a certain way is getting out of an old tradition, automotive, and this car industry. The question is to you, Cara, how does the automotive industry, or where does Baden-Württemberg use this experience from the automotive industry to broaden its development in the hydrogen economy? And how does Baden-Württemberg shapes this approach? Because there is a strategy behind that. We heard that from Haifa, we heard that from Saxony. Every region has a strategy, and you have different measures that you use for that. Please explain us.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I was talking about Baden-Württemberg as a technology supplier for hydrogen technologies, and so in fact there are a lot of projects in Baden-Württemberg, and they are at the moment really at the challenge of how to industrialize these technologies. So how to come from a small number of components and systems towards thousands and more pieces, and so to bring down the costs, and of course to have the necessary quantities once the hydrogen sectors and hydrogen application is established. And so this is the challenges the companies are facing currently. And the projects, they cover all technologies along the hydrogen value chain. So from a tank in a hydrogen vehicle towards a fuel cell for mobile or stationary supply. And all types of technologies needed. And only last year, 20 more projects in the field of R&D started with a funding by the state of Baden-Württemberg. So there's a lot going on in the mentioned SMEs, but of course also the big players are active. We mentioned already the IPCEI projects in Baden-Württemberg. Also there are a few of them. For example, the company Elring Klinger, which has a joint venture with the French company Plastic Omnium, they have a IPCEI on how to industrialize fuel cell production currently. And so I've been talking a lot about the technologies, but of course in Baden-Württemberg as well, we do have the challenge to reduce our emissions. So we also want to promote the application of hydrogen technologies, and therefore we have a few demonstration projects in our region. We have, for example, 2 model regions, hydrogen model regions, which are funded by the state and by the European Union, and they cover the whole value chain, so beginning from the production of hydrogen, how to transport and then how to use it, to really create a very local ecosystem where hydrogen reduces the emissions. And I like to mention another lighthouse project about hydrogen application. So in the cities of Mannheim and Heidelberg, we purchase, or the local bus company purchases 40 buses, which is the whole bus fleet, and it will be fuel cell buses. So the whole bus fleet will be electrified within this project, which is a big step for these cities, and the project is accompanied also by 2 research institutions to see what are the technical and what are the economical challenges when we electrify a whole bus fleet. Yeah, so this about a few projects, and you've been asking also on the political framework, the strategy. Baden-Württemberg has also its own hydrogen roadmap with 29 measures on how to push forward the establishment of a hydrogen economy. And we at the state agency, we are there to implement this strategy with our platform H2BW. And a key asset for us to do this is our cluster Fuel Cell BW. It's a network of over 200 partners from the industry and from research institutions. And we do have experience in this field. The cluster has been created already in 2013, so 10 years ago. And in the last 3 years, the topic of hydrogen has gained a lot of importance and attention. And yeah, so we're happy to spread the word about Baden-Württemberg also here in France and internationally. So please feel free to stop by at our booth if you're interested in Baden-Württemberg and our companies.
I guess we're running a bit out of time, so I will. Thanks a lot. I will come back to you, Carola. And you heard many enterprises, projects, institutes. Who are the member of the VDMA Power to X?
Well, many of the companies I've just heard are members of our platform. So our platform, VDMA Power to X for Applications, we started in 2018. We are now a network of nearly 200 companies, really covering the whole value chain of hydrogen derivatives, from renewable energy to process engineering to the application sector. Our home is the VDMA, the Mechanical Engineering Industries Association, a network of 3,500 companies, literally covering everything in mechanical and plant engineering. And so our activities are political lobbying, obviously. We support on export-related issues. We are in Germany involved in all of the energy partnerships that the federal government is implementing at the moment with all parts of the regions in the world. We obviously do technological cooperation. We have a yearly conference really focusing on the state of the art of technology, both on the production and the application side. So if you're interested in that, have a chat with my lovely colleagues. We are in the booth, obviously, in the German booth. And we help with networking. Hydrogen is a very dynamic field at the moment. We see that there are a lot of new companies coming into that sector. We see a lot of startups coming into that sector, and we have special activities also for startups and really helping with matchmaking for those who need partners for their projects. So this is one of the main activities that we're actually doing.
Thanks a lot, Carola. We are running out of time. We thank you a lot. And if you want to know more, please join us at our German booth. We are waiting for you. Thanks a lot.